Would you still take a vacation if you had to hand over $15,000 in cash before you even set foot in the country? Not to live there, not to work there, just for a short trip. Because that's the new reality for thousands of travelers looking to visit the United States. In early August 2025, the Trump administration quietly rolled out a policy that stunned much of the world: a refundable cash bond of up to $15,000 for visitors from certain countries, just to apply for a short-term tourist or business visa. The official explanation? It's meant to stop visa overstays. The real effect? It's turning the United States into one of the most expensive and unwelcoming destinations on Earth, and sending global tourism into a tailspin. A tourism industry already in trouble. The U.S. tourism sector was already struggling. Travel here is expensive, the rules are complicated, and the overall experience often feels unfriendly. Canadian airlines are cutting flights to popular U.S. cities because vacationers are avoiding the country altogether. International visitor spending is down 22.5% compared to last year. The U.S. is projected to lose $12.5 billion in tourism revenue this year alone. Instead of addressing those problems, the administration is now squeezing more money out of a shrinking industry, like charging an entry fee for a party no one's showing up to. It's not the first time Trump has taken this kind of gamble. Back in his first term, he tried to block Chinese students from entering the country, a move that triggered such a strong backlash. The policy was quietly scrapped. Now, the same playbook is back, only this time the targets are broader. Zambia, Malawi, Mexico, and several South American nations are already on the list. More could follow soon. Meanwhile, other travel destinations, Europe, Southeast Asia, even parts of Africa, are making it easier than ever to visit. No cash bonds, no red tape. Just open doors. How the bond works: here's the fine print. If you're from one of the designated countries, a U.S. consular officer can demand a $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000 bond before even reviewing your visa application. These are the B1 and B2 visas, the standard permits for short trips like sightseeing, family visits, or business meetings. The decision is based on visa overstay rates in your country, your personal travel history, your education level, your stated purpose for visiting. But here's the catch: much of this is left to the officer's personal judgment. That means outcomes can vary wildly, even between two applicants with identical paperwork. In 2024, over 60% of tourist visa applicants from Ghana were denied outright. Even for those approved, the bond adds a crushing financial burden. And this isn't a generous deal. These visas are single entry, valid for only 3 months, with most stays capped at 30 days. Travelers can enter through only 3 designated airports. The bond is technically refundable, but there's no clear process or timeline for getting your money back. A tale of two doors. The bond rollout came alongside another policy: the Gold Card program, designed for wealthy foreigners. If you have deep pockets and are willing to make large investments in the U.S., you get faster processing, fewer restrictions, and even tax breaks. It's a clear split. Door 1, for the wealthy, VIP access. Door 2, for everyone else, giant cash hurdles. That raises the question: are these policies really about security, or are they just a way to gatekeep who gets in, while quietly generating revenue? The numbers don't add up. The government estimates about 2,000 visa applicants will be affected in the program's first phase. If every one of them pays the maximum $15,000, that's roughly $30 million held temporarily by the U.S. government. But this isn't actual income. It's a deposit. If visitors follow the rules, the money should be returned. And that's assuming they navigate the refund bureaucracy, which is far from guaranteed. It also costs money to run this program: extra forms, payment processing, staff time. According to the Federal Register, just processing the application costs about $47.60 per person. Before factoring in labor and security expenses. In short, it's not financially smart. It's messy, inefficient, and sends a hostile message to travelers worldwide. Tourism exodus even before the bond policy. U.S. tourism was in decline, especially during the Trump years. Since 2017, entry rules have gotten tougher. Visa interviews have become more intense. Wait times have stretched into months. Rejection rates have soared now. The bond is accelerating the drop. Travel agents in Asia and Africa are reporting mass cancellations. Families who once dreamed of Disneyland are heading to Paris. Business travelers are shifting conferences from New York to Toronto. Spain and Thailand have both seen rising tourism numbers in the past year, while U.S. arrivals dropped 14%. The ripple effect when tourism declines. The damage ripples far beyond hotels and souvenir shops. Restaurants lose customers. Taxi drivers see fewer fares. Airlines cut routes. Small town shops struggle to survive. Even rural economies feel it. In places like Iowa, tourism supplements farm income. In Florida, hotel and restaurant jobs keep local economies alive. The bond policy doesn't just filter visitors, it filters out money, jobs, and opportunity. The bigger economic picture. What's ironic is that many of the regions now hit hardest by declining visitors were also the strongest supporters of tougher immigration rules. From farms in Georgia that can't find harvest crews to small towns in Michigan where storefronts sit empty, the consequences are hitting home. Tourists and immigrants don't just take, they give. They work in hotels, serve food, harvest crops, and keep small businesses alive. They spend money that circulates locally, creating jobs for Americans. Now, both groups are shrinking. A shrinking workforce across the U.S. Labor shortages are getting worse. Hotels in Orlando can't hire enough housekeepers. Restaurants in California are cutting hours. Hospitals in rural areas are short on nurses. At the same time, major airlines, both domestic and international, are cutting flights to the U.S. due to falling demand and rising costs. Even Latin American carriers like Avianca and LATAM have scaled back Miami and Fathom, Dallas routes that were once packed year-round. Reputation damage. Once, visiting America was the ultimate travel goal. Now, the country is increasingly seen as expensive, complicated, politically unstable, unwelcoming for some travelers. The $15,000 bond is the final straw. Why hand over that kind of money just to be treated with suspicion, when dozens of other destinations will welcome you for free? The American dream on hold. The U.S. built much of its economic power on openness, welcoming talent, workers, and visitors from across the globe. Now that openness is closing, and with every barrier, financial or otherwise, the American dream fades a little more. The policy may be framed as border control, but the message it sends is crystal clear. If you're from the wrong country or can't afford the price tag, don't bother coming. The final question: if America treats tourists like threats, if it uses money as a filter for opportunity, if it keeps pulling away from the world instead of engaging with it, then what will be left not just of the tourism industry, but of the idea of America itself? If you want, I can now take this rewritten version and give it a stronger, emotional close with a real-time news-style ending, so it feels like a live broadcast segment. That will make it hit even harder for a video audience.